Frank Cross is the youngest IBC president in the history of the network, and he got there by giving up love, abandoning his family, and disavowing Christmas. He's a sour, bitter, selfish prick, hated by everyone who works under him. But one Christmas Eve, he is visited by 3 ghosts in an attempt to make him change his ways and embrace love and kindness in the 1988 Christmas comedy, Scrooged. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Austin Johnson.
And this is Filmgazm. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. Our anniversary spotlights continue with a fantasy comedy that's celebrating 35 years this year, Richard Donner's Scrooged. We both had the pleasure of seeing this on the big screen in Los Angeles at the New Beverly Cinema about 2 years ago as part of a double bill with Christmas Vacation. What a fantastic memory. That was so much fun, and this movie's forever tied to that now.
Yeah, 100%. Both movies. The other one you mentioned, Christmas Vacation, I'm much more familiar with. I've seen since I was a kid, and it's just I like it more now because of that experience. But Scrooged, I'd only seen probably a couple times. I liked it, love Bill Murray, but then seeing it on the big screen with a pretty rowdy crowd, and that was the second movie, so it was late. It was 1 a.m. and this bad boy's starting, and people are just up for it, and you can feel it, you can feel it in the theater. There's 120 people, including you and I. Simple concession stand, right? Just go get your M&Ms, your popcorn, your soda, go back to your seat for the second movie, and Scrooge just had everybody cackling. That's just such a good movie.
It was such a great theater. The concession stand thing was great. I love that he charged like there was no item over $5.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah. I mean, it was so refreshing that I went back earlier this year in February with my wife to see True Romance, and every time I go to LA, I am going to go to that theater. It's just, and then you and I, we talk about it, and we still talk about that experience of seeing those 2 Christmas movies exactly 2 years ago. And I was in the middle of December in 2021. We also got to see Licorice Pizza at the Fox and Westwood. Also incredible experience. It just, all these things are so cool, and you can't help it, so it rubs off on other people. And then Adam, my oldest brother, who's been on the pod plenty of times now, went and saw Slapshot and Happy Gilmore during July. This past July, during the summer. I was like, dude, you have to go, make time, carve time out to go to this place. It is very, very special. And I just don't see, if you love movies, I don't see how you could go there and not be just completely absorbed by that experience and want to go back, Yeah,
and you got the super duper extra special chocolatey fudge coated extra awesome experience because you saw a Tarantino movie at the Tarantino theater. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Tarantino, Tony Scott, 1993, True Romance, and again, just as you'd expect, the theater was completely packed. It was a midnight showing, and it was just raucous. It's not that annoying, everybody's saying the lines over and over, but people are responding to the movie in real time. They're responding to the gags, the laughs, the violence, whatever it is. They're in it, and there's nowhere anybody rather be than right there. And that's why I love it so much. Is I don't really feel that anywhere else that I've been to. Very rarely do I see a movie now that has that experience. Probably the last one that was new that I saw was, again, about 2 years ago when the most recent Spider-Man. It was a really cool experience where everybody was responding to what was happening in real time. But these are old movies, man. These movies are 1988 Scrooged and 1989 Christmas Vacation, and people are just up for it as if they've never seen it before, but at the same time they've seen it 100 times. So just, you can't explain it.
Yeah, every single screening of every single movie is sold out. People go there because they love it. It's all original film stock. There's no digital cameras there. It's Tarantino's personal collection of film prints that he loans out to them to see. So you saw Tarantino's personal film print of True Romance.
Yeah. Which is, just thinking about that is it just feels like it shouldn't be legal. It feels like something that's so unique and so special, and to do that, I didn't take it for granted. I was fucking locked in. Uh, it was really cool to be able to show my wife, like, who's not as in love with that movie as I am, but it was cool to like be like, look, this is me in my element, like it was one of those moments where she was like supportive of like, oh, this is what you really, really like. This is like what you get off to, like this kind of stuff is what you love, you love to do in your spare time. And like, if I live there, I mean, I look at their schedule like every month just out of curiosity, and I'm like, oh my God, just banger after banger, just stuff I love so much, In 1 week, they're like, oh, here's a screening of a Goofy movie and Rounders and Citizen Kane. And you're like, I wish I lived there.
It's almost like they're like, sometimes it feels like it's for you. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Why are you showing 3 of my favorite movies of all time? It's almost like,
exactly.
You can see the guy in the, like, making the schedule being like, huh? Come on.
Yeah. My other brother, Jeremy, he went to LA, I think in this past April. And I was like begging him. I was like, dude, go. And he wasn't able to make time because they were showing a Goofy movie while he was there. I'm like, dude, to see a Goofy movie. I mean, to some listeners, that might sound really silly, but that is like my older brothers and I, that's like our mutual, that is like one of the most important, like cornerstone movies of our lives. And I was like, dude, it's like 75 minutes long. Just make some time, go see that. He just wasn't able to. He was with kind of a group of people, and I just think it wasn't the vibe for them, wasn't the move. And I'm like, that was a mistake. That was a mistake, man. You're never going to be able to get that back,
I'm waiting for him to show Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. When that happens, I'm going to carve out how much ever time I need, and I'm going to fly to LA and go see that.
Yeah, I mean, I would go by myself, you know what I mean? It's one of those things, I don't really, it's so fucking cool. Yeah, I would, I look at their stuff because you can print out, like, how we got those schedules of like the, December 2021. It's like, here's this, here's that, here's Hateful Eight, here's Django, here's the double bill we saw. And you can just print those out like online. I wouldn't take one that I like when I didn't go. I think it'd be kind of weird. But like, I have the 2 times I went, so February 2023 and December 2021. I have those, and like I want more of them because they're all different colors. I'm like, I want more of those so I can have them. Like, I have them right next to me right here in my backpack. Like, I'll never let them leave my side.
If you lived in LA, I can totally see you like using those as like straight up wallpaper.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. And the like you mentioned the prices, it's cheap to just get in.
Yeah.
And it's not, there's not like a huge difference between the matinee at 2 p.m. and the midnight showings of these double bills. You get to see 2 movies for like $12.
Yeah, I don't really see this as like a money-making venture for Tarantino. I think it's just he wants people to have access to fun movies and just enjoy themselves. It's like it's awesome. Like it's the kind of theater I would operate if I was able to own a movie theater.
Yeah, and it's got. I talked to my brother Adam about that because he was like, "Man, like it was packed for Slapshot and Happy Gilmore." I'm like, "Yeah, it's packed because it's reasonably priced. They're movies that have like a real audience behind them because they're old. They've like had enough time to gain an audience, and they're his or they're donated to him. He's not paying some company, hey, I'll pay you this much to show this new movie. Now, I'm sure he does that because like right now, Poor Things is showing at that theater, and so I'm sure there's some money involved there. But as far as like Happy Gilmore, that's just his. He's not, it's just his on his own dime. Yeah, here we go. Or someone donated it to him, like, hey man, show this at your. It's better in Tarantino's hands than in someone's fucking basement,
Yeah.
So like, he gets to use that because it's so reasonably priced. It's always packed. All 100 and whatever 50 seats are almost full. I'm sure he does profit off of it because of how well it's been taken care of and how reasonably priced it is. That you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to sit down and be entertained. I love that. Because if it were, let's be honest, it's Tarantino, he could just slap, oh, you want to come see Hateful Eight on my personal $20. He could do that, but instead he's like, nah, how about 8?
Yeah. It's fantastic. I wish we had one here, but the only way that's going to happen is if we start one.
Yeah, I don't go to the theater very often at all, mainly because of the price. Because now, it's if I go, my wife's like, well, usually it's movies that we both want to see, or if it's Spider-Man or whatever, Super Mario. It's like, okay, well now our daughter's going to come with us because she's old enough to understand what's going on. And it costs so much fucking money to go, all three of us. It's like $45. That's just the tickets. Then you think about if we want to get anything, fucking soda is fucking $8. So it's just gotten too expensive. The last movie I saw in theaters was Killers of the Flower Moon. It's a long time ago. It's over a month ago. So, or I guess about a month ago, somewhere early November, I think is when I saw that. So it's like, I that sucks. It's not really my fault. I love movies. I love seeing movies in theaters. I want to support them, but also like I can't sacrifice paying rent to see a movie. So
Yeah.
it's a hard thing. So being in San Antonio, there is nothing to accommodate people like me. There's just nothing there. And that's really sad because I have a lot of friends who would go see these movies nonstop if it were reasonably priced and didn't put them in a bind later down the road. That's just the nature of it. And so, I mean, I have a lot of friends who haven't seen anything this year. That's sad, but they like movies. They may not love them, but they like them enough. But it's like, hey man, I don't really want to pay $15 to see Napoleon when I don't even know if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Sad. See, like you have that Draft House deal, right? You do the monthly thing.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, it pays for itself fast.
It does.
You should get that. I think, like,
I've been thinking about it, like coming into the new year, into January. Just do it. Because what is it? How much is it a month?
$20 a month, and you get pay a $2 service charge for a ticket, so it's $2. You can buy 2 movie tickets a day, and include screenings, not just new stuff, but like screenings of old stuff.
Yeah, see, even if I just go to 2 movies a month, that's
I go 2 or 3 times a week, man. Like I see
I know
everything because like I feel like I'm losing money if I'm not at the Draft House.
Of course, yeah, and that's like why it's such a genius thing is you pay that subscription and you get your money's worth. $20 a month. What does that come out to? That's 20 times 12 is it's over $200 you're paying a year. So yeah, you want to get your money's worth. Yeah.
And like you said, after 2 visits to the movies, you've already paid for the month. Like right there.
Yeah.
It's incredibly worth it.
Yeah. The tricky part with Draft House is not always is trying not to always order too much food.
That is very much a problem that I have yet to figure out a solution for, because it ends up being like, yeah, I paid $2 for the ticket, but I paid $30 for the burger and Coke. So like shit.
Yeah, that's really, to me, the trickiest part of Draft House is like, I love it. I love what they do. I love all the screenings that they do. Like you said, we've seen a lot of great movies there together. Old stuff, Jaws, The Thing, Tommy Boy, just all kinds of shit. And
like on the 22nd, I wanted to like they're playing Thief.
Oh yeah, see that's so cool. That's
I almost didn't tell you because I'm like, he's not gonna be able to take off work and he's just gonna feel bad. He's gonna miss it.
No, I'll only have the 25th and 26th off. That's it. That's all I'll have. That kind of like that 10-day Christmas run. So, which is cool. I like having of course the day of. I like having the day after Boxing Day. Having that day off is cool because there's a lot of soccer games over in England. So I'll do that on the day after. But yeah, no, it's tricky, man. I feel like we have this conversation a lot, but I feel like it's been on my mind a lot. I've been thinking about that Draft House subscription, like, just do it, just do it and do it for a year and see what happens.
Yeah, it feels good. Like it feels good, whenever I go see a movie and it turns out like it's not great, I don't feel like I just lost, $20-$30. I'm like, oh, I'm at $2. Who cares?
Yeah. And now like Park North is the place I would go to. Like they have the showings of the new Miyazaki film.
They have a great they get a lot of obscure stuff. I love that.
Yeah, so like that's the one I would be going to. Like there's the Stone Oak one. That's the one where we met, we worked together. So it like always has a special place in my heart. But like other than like special screenings, I feel like I'd be going to Park North because that's really the only place in the city aside from occasionally Santikos. Got to give them a shout out. Embassy and Palladium, they'll show cool stuff, but more unique stuff, especially Embassy. But man, once the Bijou left, it felt like a big part of like what we care about in this particular city just left as well.
That's why I love Alamo Draft House South Lamar specifically. That's the flagship Draft House now. They've
Yeah.
got like 12 theaters, and they pick up literally everything. Stuff I've never heard of, stuff from every country. They do random like mystery movie screenings where they'll just tell you like it's an 80s slasher movie, but they don't tell you what it is till you get there.
Yeah.
Like
Dog,
that's awesome.
That's so sick. Did you see Poor Things yet?
I did. I saw it last weekend.
Yeah, so like they like had screenings on like December 4th for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a week ago.
Yeah, I was trying to schedule a first thoughts on that, but everyone was like, it's not out yet, and I'm like, it's out here.
Yeah, well, like because anybody who could be on it. See, I figured Mysia because she lives in San Francisco.
Yeah,
I figured if anyone on our team, because like Adam and I are both here in San Antonio, I don't think they're showing it where Josh and Caleb live in Virginia. Not yet anyway. And then Mysia lives, in like a also, artistic city, San Francisco. I figured she's the only one who's gonna be able to see it.
yeah, but she was sick, so that didn't happen.
Yeah. And Poor Things is, you like it?
It's I did like it, but holy hell, I'm surprised it wasn't an X.
That's so good to hear.
It's the most sexually charged weird movie I've ever seen.
Oh man, I'm amped.
It was great. Emma Stone was fantastic. Willem Dafoe was awesome. Mark Ruffalo stole the show. He was fantastic. He was such a sick asshole. It was so good.
Good.
Fun movie. Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's the weirdest, like Frankenstein-esque sexual comedy I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm hoping that'll be my return to the theater. That one and the Iron Claw looks cool.
Oh yeah, definitely ramping up for that.
I'd like to see both of those at the end of the month. I've watched like stuff that's out on streaming or whatever, like 2023 stuff, just to kind of like try to catch up a little bit. I watched A Fire, which I fell in love with right away. Love that movie. That one's streaming on Criterion, which very rarely happens that they get like a proper new release. So it's like a pretty unique situation. I was like, I haven't heard a damn thing about it. Like nothing. I watched it and I was like, oh my God, this is like, I like needed this right now. Like the message was like, I needed this. I needed to like wake up a bit in my own like mental state. And then like 2 days later, I was listening to a podcast with these guys talking about their top 5 movies of the year. And one guy had it number 5. And I was like, I've heard no one talk about this movie. And then he was like, yo, A Fire, that German film is pretty good. I was like, yeah, it is really good. And then I watched The Stroll, which God really, really shook me up on HBO Max or Max, whatever the fuck. Really, really good about the meatpacking district where trans women, would work, to like make money, sex work. And then I watched May December, which I thought was really cool. Like I thought that was really good. It's just it's fucking Natalie and Julianne, man. They're just like they're so good. Their presence is so commanding. I really like that one as well. So I'm gonna try to play a little catch up through streaming, nice. And then like Killers of the Flower Moon I've already seen, but like that's now available on VOD and whatnot. So like I'm excited for other people to also see these movies. Because that's just the way people watch now is they wait for it to be in the comfort of their home. And I can't blame them.
Yeah. I've been, I have a goal for the Oscars, which I've never been able to accomplish, but I came closer than ever last year and I'm going to do it this time. I want to see every Best Picture nominee before they're announced.
Oh,
like,
okay. So watch Zone of Interest.
Yeah, that one and Anatomy of a Fall. I got to
get
to.
Watch American Fiction. I've heard that might make a little.
I'm seeing that tomorrow. Actually, I got South Lamar has it. I'm gonna go see that tomorrow.
Other than that, I think you're covered. Oppenheimer, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon. You've seen all those. So
when Maestro hits Netflix, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah. I think you're gonna be able to do it. I used to do that all the time. Like that was just like the nature of like I definitely did that in 2019 before they all came out, like it was cool to be on the Parasite wave in November before like people knew what was going on. And yeah, I love that. Remember last year we were like, well, I guess it was almost 2 years ago now. We were like, all right, this upcoming Oscar, we're gonna watch every nominee. And then we were like, some of these suck.
As soon as I watched Blonde, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Same. And I still carry that. Like I still think about that because it's like why would I force myself to watch stuff I don't want to watch just because an organization that really doesn't know what it's talking about is like, oh, this is what's best. Like, yeah, like Blonde was so like just like, oh, like such a mind melter of just like, I don't care. I don't care. This movie makes it's not even like, oh, this is really unique and cool, doesn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to me at all. I just didn't care what was going on. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me as well. Just I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to you know what? If it happens organically down the line, you go back, oh yeah, I'll watch this. Oh, this happens to be a nominated movie. Cool. But trying to fit it all in just because it's nominated. Yeah, that was silly of us.
True. We tried it with the whole ceremony with the best picture category.
Oh, way different.
Totally fine. Like I almost made it last year. I did see them all eventually, but I almost had them all before the announcement. And the one I was missing Women Talking and Triangle of Sadness. And I was like, fuck.
I was missing Women Talking and because Triangle of Sadness is right up my alley.
That was great. Both of those.
Triangle of Sadness still like from the 2020s is one of the most memorable scenes is the scene when, you know, Woody Harrelson and the Russian guy when they're just getting hammered, like talking about politics, and the boat's just moving around. It's just one of the best drunk scenes I've ever seen. And I still think about it all the time.
I always think about the Karen demanding that the sails be cleaned on
that
does not have sails.
Yeah, great scene. That movie is awesome. I feel like there's one that I waited and watched it like once I realized it was announced. I did that the year before as well. Like the year before, I waited and just watched a shit ton, like The Power of the Dog and those. Like I waited and I just knocked them all out in that month before the Oscars.
I think the year before, I think Drive My Car was like the only one I had not gotten to.
Yeah.
Prior, and I was like, fuck. And then I watched it. I'm like, that was the film.
This should win. Yeah.
But yeah, this year,
yeah,
I've been so ahead of the game that I think I got it.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you do too. And I think just look at Vegas. Just look at the Vegas odds and just watch the movies that they have, and I'm sure you'll knock them all out. There's always one random one, but you've probably seen it. So like, you know, that's the way it's going to be. So yeah, those come out January. I can't remember January. Like,
I think 10th.
Yeah, I was gonna say early mid-January.
Yeah,
and then March 10th is the actual ceremony. So there's plenty of time, but you want to knock them out before January.
I do, and I think I'm gonna. Yeah,
so I think one of them actually. Who was I listening to that was saying one of these movies doesn't come out until January, like in theaters here. Can't remember which one it is, but you'll have to be like, this is the last minute. This is it. I can't remember which one it is. I listen to people talk about this kind of stuff a lot, and I don't know why. I just do. You know, I mainly love the anticipation of things like this, and you know, the Golden Globe nominations. You know, we're recording on Monday. They came out today, December 11th, and like I didn't even know. And you texted me, and I looked at them, and I was like, yeah, I mean, really cool. It's really cool to see like a movie like John Wick 4 get nominated, but like in the box office category, like what is that? Like, what are we doing? So I do still hold the Oscars to a higher standard than all these other, you know, award, you know, ceremonies and whatnot. So I do anticipate it. I don't know why. It's just like some dumb thing we do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fun. And we're in the midst of award season now. So it's on our minds, and we're, you know, and I do think a lot of these films are fantastic and really cool. Yeah. Especially this year, we've gotten a lot of like first-time directors trying their hands at some really fresh, original stories, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I do think it's been an underrated year. From what I've seen, you know, I haven't seen a ton, but from what I've seen, I've actually been pretty pleased with. And I think what's been like the harder part is, as far as like what's been successful, it's been like little pockets.
Yeah,
and so like there'll be stretches of the calendar that are like, oh man, you know, like there's nothing really like good and like well done and successful coming out. Like the fact that Barbie and Oppenheimer saved the box office, but came out the same day, you know, and then there was like a lull of like, that's what we're talking about. And then Killers of the Flower Moon came out. I was like, all right, let's talk about that now. Feels like there's been a strange amount of time on the calendar where it's kind of deceiving, you know, You're like, oh, it's been a weak year. You look back though, and you're like, actually, it's been some pretty good movies.
There've been some pretty, So it's been a weak year for blockbusters. Like big movies have been really shitty this year, apart with some exceptions. But like we've also gotten like Past Lives and Dream Scenario and like some really memorable.
I watched Sisu, dude. That movie was fucking sick.
Sisu was fucking wild. That was crazy. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Coolest plane crash I've ever seen in a movie.
I watched that on your Vudu. I forgot to mention that one earlier. That movie was fucking sick. I mean, yeah. There's always gonna be that. You just have to look. You just have to pay attention and look out for it.
Thankfully, with my season pass, I'm able to just kind of on a whim say like, yeah, sure, I'll go see it. I don't really have to think that through. Like,
take a chance. Yeah.
Should I pay for this movie or should I pay for this movie? And I'm like, I'm gonna see both, and I'm gonna have a great day.
Yeah. God. Count your blessings.
That was all right. That was fun.
Speaking of the Oscars, Scrooged was nominated for one.
It was, yeah. We haven't done one of these in a while, so this is like half Scrooged, half catching up.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't been. Last episode I did, I think, was Scarface like a month ago. So it's been a while. Like anytime we hang out, we're going to talk about movies. So and talk about just kind of in general what's going on. Which I am excited. As we get into the new year, I am excited to kind of like go back to some like old habits of me and you doing some of the Oscar stuff. I'm like really stoked for that, kind of like anticipating stuff.
Yeah, in a few weeks, I'm going to explain a bit of an overhaul we're going to do for next year's shows, and I'm very excited for a kind of less is more, back to basics approach.
For sure,
more on that later. Right now,
yeah, you know what movie kind of fits? It is like so Filmgazm and like fits obviously what we're doing right now because it's December, it's Christmas time. It's time to watch some Christmas movies. Also Oscar nominated, but also a genre film, Scrooged. Also is just like weird as fuck, really funny, and dare I say, like way ahead of its time.
Yeah. This is one of the most creative versions of A Christmas Carol I've ever seen. Actually, that leads right into my question.
Perfect.
This is my personal favorite adaptation of Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, not even close.
So I was curious, what are some of your favorite film versions of that story? Because there's been a fuck ton of different takes on this story.
Good question. I should have came prepared. I mean, yeah, this is definitely the one that jumps out, especially because it's not really hiding from the references. No. It's very. I mean, the movie's called Scrooged. That's a good question. I like that. I'm gonna look up some stuff. Maybe get some ideas. Do you have any that are kind of outside the box?
I really enjoy the Muppets take on this story.
Okay, yeah.
1992's The Muppet Christmas Carol, starring Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah,
and just the Muppets. He plays that. Yeah. He plays Scrooge like he's doing Shakespeare. Like he is super serious in that movie, and that's what makes it work. He's not being goofy around the Muppets. He's acting with the Muppets, which is pretty amazing. And he really just makes that movie pop. And I love the songs. I love the vibe. It's just a delightful take on the material. I thought Zemeckis did a great job with his animated version from 2009.
I just saw that one right here. I actually really like that one. Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah. It took me a while to watch that, but once I did, I was like, this is creepy and very grown up, and Carrey's doing a great job, and Gary Oldman's in it. And it's a great version.
Yeah, that's like 2009, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I need to rewatch that one because I really liked it when I was younger, and I need to see it again. But yeah, I have some of the like old ones I haven't seen. I'm looking back now. I mean, there's so many that are just, the Christmas Carol, like 1923, 1938, 1949, 1950, all those. But yeah, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of anything that's not necessarily a Christmas Carol, but uses like the same plot. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily a Christmas movie, but uses that same kind of like guy who's a fucking dick and doesn't like want to enjoy the joy that everybody else has, but then comes around at the end, because that's a trope that's just used in movies.
There was a rom-com in 2010 called Ghost of Girlfriends Past with McConaughey.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I haven't seen it, but I know about it, and I think it's the same structure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh my God. That was McConaughey's like nightmare run of just what were you thinking?
I know it's like, yeah, he's, in the 90s, he's in like Dazed and Confused and Amistad and The Pelican Brief and some like incredible movies. And then he just did shitty rom-coms for like 10 years. And then he wins an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. Like, what? How do you explain this guy?
Yeah. There's a, I guess really the 2000s is when you're like, well, what were you doing? Because like one of my personal favorites of his is Ed TV. I love him in that movie. And it's so ridiculous. And you're like, man, this is so 90s. But you can see like, oh man, this guy could be really good in rom-coms. Like you can see like why he became typecast as that guy. He's super good looking, has the accent, has the kind of like Southern drawl. And it's just like any woman is going to be like, yeah, I'd sleep with that guy, So he's like perfect for that. But then, have you seen like even what's that one where he gained a bunch of weight and he's like a gold miner or whatever?
I think it was just called Gold.
Just Gold, yeah, I think. And like it's not a great movie, but like it's like transformative what he's doing, and he does it in Dallas Buyers Club and Mud, and even Wolf of Wall Street. That little bit he has where he's like, it looks like he's on meth, like he's just kind of like able to transform. He's been doing that now for like 10 years.
Yeah. I do real quick want to just say I mixed up my Grishams. He was not in The Pelican Brief. He was in A Time to Kill.
Pelican Brief is Denzel.
Yeah. All those 90s Grisham adaptations, I do get them mixed up. If you put them all in a blender, I could not tell you what happens in which one.
I mean, yeah, you said it out loud, and even I was just like, yeah, that sounds right. But no, Pelican Brief is him and Julia Roberts.
Yeah,
Denzel and Julia Roberts. Yeah. I haven't seen that. In a long time. But talk about one of my mother's favorite movies. Yeah, she loves all that 90s Grisham shit. She's like, no, there is a difference.
She's right. The 90s courtroom drama was different. That's one of my favorite subgenres of movie. I've enjoyed every single one I've seen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, great time. I mean, yeah, Few Good Men. Come on.
Oh boy, I just watched The Firm for the first time recently.
Dude, yeah,
that was an adventure.
Did you not like laugh your ass off when you saw Dean Norris
as like
Hank Schrader,
like super evil lawyer guy? Yeah, that was awesome.
I like lost it. I couldn't. I don't know why, but he makes me laugh so hard ever since Breaking Bad. Anytime I see him in anything, I just lose it because I think of him like, yeah, Shania Twain. Dude. I think about his weird Hank Schrader character in Breaking Bad and how funny he was.
I watched The Lawnmower Man on a whim, and he plays the like super evil head of the shop, this like shadowy government agency, but he's putting on like a pseudo English accent. So he's like, will we be able to find them? Like, can we get back into the shop? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why? Who thought this was a good idea?
Oh man, one of my favorite Dean Norris moments ever is pre Breaking Bad, 2006, Little Miss Sunshine. when he God, I love these. and then he's going through the magazines and it's buns and ammo, and he goes, "No, that's different." Oh man.
I recently got a pub trivia question right, and it was what film pre-Breaking Bad stars Bryan Cranston and Dean Norris?
Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah,
Little Miss Sunshine. I got that right. I was so happy.
Now, what's the connection? There's a weird connection between Little Miss Sunshine and something else. What's Bryan Cranston's name in Little Miss Sunshine? There's like a connection between that and like a Coen Brothers movie or something.
His character's name is Stan Grossman. Yes.
Yeah. Stan Grossman. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I know. Is that Fargo?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure. But yeah. Like, isn't that so random? I love when Greg Kinnear is on the phone with him. He's and then he like sees him at the like he drives to that hotel or whatever. Greg Kinnear. The Little Miss Sunshine rules. I love when he like confronts him and Cranston's like looking at his phone like, yeah, this guy, and he's right behind him. It's a great movie. Stan Grossman. Yeah, Stan Grossman, Fargo. Who is Stan Grossman in Fargo though?
He's played by Larry Brandenburg. He's Wade Gustafson's business partner.
Okay, yeah. Isn't that wild? What the fuck?
I love that shit. I love that shit.
Yeah, me too. God, I love that. Yeah.
Back to Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out the 80s TV movie starring George C. Scott. A Christmas.
See, I haven't seen all of that, like all the way through. Yeah, but I'm sure it's great.
It's great. I totally buy George C. Scott as a bitter miser who hates everybody. I do not buy him as a reformed grandpa figure who's like, God bless us, everyone. I don't buy that for a second. He plays a angry piece of shit so much better than he plays a charming old, like, I see the error of my ways. So the end of that movie is kind of insincere, but everything leading up to it is really good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, George C. He just by age 30, George C. Scott's already like looks like he's 60 and is like, ugh. I mean, I think he's under 40 years old in Patton, but he looks like he's 80.
Jesus Christ. Dude, in The Hustler, he looks like he's, got a subscription to AARP and can't get up the stairs that well. I don't know what was on that dude's shoulders, but goddamn.
Yeah, he's just, there's something, I don't know, that like they just like simply don't make them like that anymore. Like George C. Scott is his own breed, his own type of actor, and I mean, I'm completely obsessed with him. I think he's amazing. But he like has this like look to him that he's like so like leathery and like been through so much, like in the 70s movies he was in. And I think he was born in 1930 something. So yeah, he'd have been like 40 around when Patton came out, or like right around it. And that's just insane. When you watch that, you're like, man, there's no one like him today.
No one gave a shit so like about the craft more than he did. He didn't care about celebrity. He didn't care about the awards. He didn't care about his competing with his co-stars. It was all about, what can I give the best performance I am capable of giving in this, whether it was a TV movie or a giant production or anything. It was all about the work.
Yeah. He was, rest in peace. He was born in 1927. So he's 43 when Patton comes out. He looks way older than 43.
I did not think, God, that's amazing.
Yeah, died in 1999. He was 71 years old, and just like one of my favorites ever, like without question.
Yeah, for sure, mine too.
So yeah, I need to see that. Because that's hilarious. Yeah, I want to see the stretch where he's like trying to be happy.
Edward Woodward is the Ghost of Christmas Present, and those two interacting is fucking gold.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, I'll definitely try to check that one out at some point. So, but like, I think for both of us, the answer, aside, put all these other ones aside, it's Scrooged. Like, this is Bill Murray makes sense as both. Like, he's so good at both.
Yeah, I also love, there's no gradual buildup to him like learning anything. It's, I'm a dick until he's on fire, and then he's like, fine, okay, I'll change.
Yeah. And the, this time more than any other, I've seen the movie a handful of times now. That the last like monologue, epilogue, I guess. It's like should be taught in acting classes. It's fucking incredible because it's almost, I think some people would think it's like not very skillful at times because the way it looks like he's purposefully stuttering through stuff or whatever. But then you like kind of take a closer look and man, this is fucking mesmerizing. This is straight from SNL. Like, this is straight from those days of like really having to carry stuff, improvising, not, instead of anticipating, he's improvising, and I like love that about him. There's no one really like him. He's such a unique talent. And you do have to have a taste for it, his style, his comedy, the kind of sudden outbursts, and then kind of like the laid back kind of. You have to be paying attention. You have to be up for it, and I'm certainly up for it. I think he's fucking dynamite in this movie, and that last 15 minutes is just really, really good stuff from him.
Yeah, one of my favorite touches in this movie is how he's never once scared or confused by the ghost. He's just like, oh, this again. All right, fine, let's do it. Like, he just doesn't care.
Yeah, let me get another drink. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So considering this film had a lot of production issues, mainly because Richard Donner and Bill Murray were butting heads the entire time, it is pretty remarkable this ended up being a huge hit and kind of a cult classic. Any Christmas movie is going to find an audience. You want to make money long term, make a Christmas movie.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So Scrooge was filmed on a $32 million budget over 3.5 months on sets in Hollywood. Exterior shots of the IBC building were filmed outside the Seagram building in New York City, and this was Bill Murray's first leading role since Ghostbusters. He had taken quite a hiatus, considering giving up acting entirely. He was kind of worried, thought he would be kind of rusty after Ghostbusters. Also, when he made the Razor's Edge remake in 1984, which was a passion project of his, that failed miserably, and that discouraged him big time. He said he felt radioactive, and that's why he took off.
Man, it's just sad.
Yeah. When you put so much effort into something you wanted to make your whole career and nobody responds, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. It's really cool that he got back on the horse. And like, of course, this movie's great, and it's really cool that he had this late '90s, 2000s like run where people a whole new generation fell in love with him again, just as much as the '70s SNL crowd. Like people like us were like, oh, this is our Bill Murray, the Wes Anderson stuff, right? Like that we like latched onto like those characters, and I still do. I still find him to be so fascinating.
Groundhog Day was kind of like the end of the 70s, 80s Bill Murray run. Rushmore was the beginning of our infatuation with Murray.
Yeah, I mean, Groundhog Day is just legendary. And that definitely is kind of like his. Yeah, it's like halftime. It's a new phase of his career, and whatever. I don't know what it is, but Wes Anderson was like, "Yeah, I'm going to use you in everything." I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's got to be that he just understands the tone of what he's trying to do. Because he's used him in 5 seconds, and he's used him as his main character. So I don't really know. I'm not sure what how the relationship works. I know Bill Murray has lived in Austin. I know they've like been connected through that, but I'm not sure like why they work so well together.
I think it's simple. I think it really just comes down to the same sense of humor. I think they have the same dry, sarcastic sense of humor, and that just meshes. You find somebody who laughs at the same shit that you do, you are not going to let them leave your life.
Yeah, and there's an understanding of they both seem to get joy out of like characters that have just like disdain for whatever. Like they're just unhappy. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray definitely is one of the best at that. He can be this miserable like sack of shit, and he just still is fucking hilarious. Like you're laughing like at him and with him. I don't know. There's just a unique combo that he has.
Yeah, for sure. He's always had that. I don't think he's ever played like a heroic character. He's always played just kind of a snarky bitch who just kind of lets things unfold in his like in a way that's going to benefit him.
Yeah. It's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I love him. So what for him, like what's the first thing you latched onto?
Definitely Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters for sure. Actually,
I figured
it might have been Osmosis Jones.
Oh, great call.
I'm thinking like my stuff on tape as a kid. I loved Ghostbusters, but Osmosis Jones was one of those movies that I just had on rotation. That movie taught me more about biology than any science class I ever took.
Great point. I totally agree.
That's such an underrated, lovely movie. I don't get why that wasn't more of a hit.
Yeah, me too. Me and my brother Jeremy, we loved that one growing up. So that's a good shout.
Yeah. What about you?
Groundhog Day, Ghostbusters, those like huge ones. But probably like the one that I was like, oh man, I love this guy. Gotta be Rushmore. There's some stuff he does in that movie that I can't explain, like how funny it is. All that Wes Anderson stuff.
No.
I really like Broken Flowers. It's a random one. It's Jim Jarmusch. I really like him in that. That was one I saw when I was younger. I think he's fucking hilarious in Kingpin.
Yeah.
And then the one that like when I was probably like 13, 14, somewhere in there, Lost in Translation. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's he's fucking good. Like he's not just some slapstick guy. Like he's got some serious chops. And he's proven that every few years he's like, oh yeah, like by the way, I can like I can ratchet it up and I can fucking get dramatic and do some cool stuff. Space Jam definitely was one as a kid that I loved, so he comes in, whoa, I don't play defense. Larry's not white, Larry's clear. he's just amazing in that movie. Yeah, all that stuff, man. You know, Caddyshack. When I saw it as a kid, I was like, man, he's fucking amazing in that. Everything. Scrooged, fucking Scrooged. Like, there's never been a moment where I'm like, that guy wasn't good or he didn't bring anything to the table.
Yeah, he is. He's the spice of life. He's got his demons, he's
Yeah,
some
yeah,
stories about him that are, you know,
yeah,
just hard to read because he comes across as quite a dick at times. But I mean, we're talking about the work.
yeah, yeah. It's tough, and I feel like it wasn't that long ago. Some allegations came out and this and that, and he's the guy's like in his early 70s, and it feels like everyone of that age. It's like, oh yeah, remember when you did this, you fucking dick. It's really annoying, but it's part of it. It's part of this thing that we love. Have you seen Where the Buffalo Roam?
I have not. My
Oh
family
man,
keeps telling me to check that out. I know it's
yeah,
Chris Thompson. Yeah.
yeah, you would love that. His take on Thompson is really unique, really cool. Like to compare it to Johnny Depp, they both do their own thing with it. And then one of my favorite he's in a scene. Well, it's a movie with a bunch of just like scenes of what do you call them? It's Coffee and Cigarettes. It's a Jim Jarmusch movie from 2003. And it was filmed over like a stretch of time. And what do you call it? I can't remember. I know this. It's a bunch of like short bits. It's like 15 short bits that make up the movie. What the fuck is that called?
Anthology.
Yeah, but there's another name I can't think of. But he then won with RZA from fucking Wu-Tang. And he's like serving coffee and smoking the whole time. They have this really interesting conversation about like smoking versus like smoking cigarettes versus smoking weed. And it's just a great because you're like, look at these two guys. Are you kidding me? But yeah, he does shit like that where you're like, he can line up against anybody or with anybody, and he's gonna bring his self to that scene. So yeah, I'm obsessed with his work. We just named like 20 movies that are all awesome.
I got one more. One of my favorite Murray moments is from Ed Wood.
Oh, dude, yeah. How do we forget Ed Wood? Yeah,
he plays Bunny Breckenridge, this very eccentric actor who worked with Ed Wood and was very much gender fluid and kind of just rolled with life. And in order to get funding for Plan 9 from Outer Space, Ed Wood had to partner with a church, I think a Baptist church, and all of the entire cast and crew had to get baptized. Yeah. And they're baptizing Bunny, and they ask him, "Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?" And he just shrugs his shoulders and goes, "Sure." Yeah. That's all it is. He's just like, "All right, sure. Why not?"
Yeah. Genius. Yeah, that's him. You give him like a line, and yeah, it's game time. Yeah. I mean, we could go on forever because now I'm looking and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this one, and this one, and not to mention his SNL stuff is just like that class. I mean, just dynamite. Like some of the best, funniest dudes ever.
It had to be, or that show never would have lasted this long. That first class had to be lights out, funny as shit for this thing to be worth continuing.
Yeah, and they paved like a way for modern, from 70 to now. They like paved a way for to meet like guys like Sandler and Chris Farley and these dudes to like like you can make movies doing this dumb shit. You can make full on stories. The characters are good enough, and if you're funny enough, it can like be really successful. And now some of these movies that come out of the Lorne Michaels cloud sphere, whatever. There's some of the comedies we talk about forever now, or you think about all the National Lampoon stuff with Chevy Chase and those guys. Those like just they were just freaks that just wanted to make funny shit over and over and make magazines and do this and do that. I think SNL is definitely a big part of that, and it's like you said, it's because they were so good. That class, Aykroyd, Belushi, Chase, those guys are just like so fucking funny.
For me, anyone who started on SNL, any successful film hit they had, you can trace back to SNL. Like it all started there.
Yeah, 100%.
If you think about it like that, like the amount of, in Austin Powers, Shrek, all of Sandler's stuff, all of Eddie Murphy's stuff, like all of that goes back to SNL. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's nuts. And it's really cool. There's been, for me, there's been 3 classes that are like, oh, wow, like this is really special. And I think we saw it obviously with those beginning guys. We saw it in the '90s. That's my favorite. That '90s group, even going down from like obviously Farley and Sandler and Chris Rock and those guys, but like even like Tim Meadows is fucking hilarious on some of
Love
those
Tim
'90s SNL runs. And then I think there was another one in the 2000s, like Kristen Wiig, Bill Hader, like those people, Jason Sudeikis, and look at them now. Like Bill Hader is a fucking genius, and a lot of his stuff comes from the timing of being on SNL and figuring out how to write, create characters. And then he has his own show, Barry, that's super, super legit. Kristen Wiig is one of the funniest women ever. They've had like phases of like must see television.
Yeah, I love it. That dude, I hate to think of what the comedy world would look like today if SNL hadn't made it past that first season.
Yeah, yeah. Have you much about like Second City, like where Bill Murray came
Oh
from?
yeah, Second City.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Candy,
So
Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy. They
yeah,
all came out
yeah,
of that, yeah.
yeah. All those Chicago guys. Yeah, I went to Second City in 2016. It was the coolest shit I've ever seen as far as comedy goes. It was like a group of 7 people. It was like 2 hours, and it was just them just improvising and doing crazy, funny shit. I mean, it was like a room of like whatever, maybe 100 people watching. And like I didn't know much about it, but then of course I went back and read about it. I was like, oh my god, all these like legends came from here. You're like tons of people, even people who weren't from Chicago and weren't like of the Midwest area. They were like, I'm gonna go to Second City and show them like I can do this too. Because SNL is a completely different animal. Second City is like if you really got it, you should be able to do that. You should be able to improvise in front of a live crowd, no cameras, no TV, just straight up one experience that's so unique to this crowd. If I ever go back to Chicago, which I hope I do, I'm making time for Second City again.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, naturally gifted comedians who just can, turn it on a dime and just make you laugh with zero effort are my favorite people on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. I still have my like program that I bought just in case like one of them breaks out. Because none of them really have, or none of them have moved on to anything else as far as I know. But there was one lady who, I mean, it was me, my dad, and my brother Adam that went, and she was like making us like roll around, like she was so fucking funny, and I'll never forget her, like how much joy she brought me that night. Like I was like, this is so sick. Second City, yeah, I was really really glad my dad was like, oh, he knew all about it. He's like, oh, we gotta go, like we have to go to this, and I was like, sure. Ended up being a really memorable night. So anybody who is ever in Chicago, check that out if you can.
That's so fucking cool. I love that. Okay, so back to Murray. Scrooged came across his desk 2 years before he actually joined it.
Okay.
He didn't think it was a good script. He said that when he wanted to return to acting, he said the scripts weren't that good. And then eventually he thought maybe I can make this work. He liked the idea of a funny Scrooge. He got $6 million, so I'm sure that helped. And
yeah,
producer Art Linson justified that $6 million fee, saying that he was paying Murray for each year he stayed away from films. That his audience draw, and therefore his fee potentially increased. Like the more we didn't get Murray, the more we wanted Murray, the more studios were willing to pay for Murray. Which makes sense. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the time, Linson said that aside from Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray was the only other name that could draw $10 million worth of tickets in the opening 3 to 4 days. That's a hell of a statement.
Yeah. Think about that sentence. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Murray wanted several changes to the script once he joined the project. He increased the romantic plot with Karen Allen's character, Claire. Thought that was a big, important part of the story and should be expanded upon. I agree. The family scenes were reworked. Murray felt they were off. He worked with scriptwriters Michael O'Donoghue and Mitch Glazer, both of whom got their start on Saturday Night Live, until Murray was confident enough to begin filming. And they found the film's denouement, in which Murray reveals his redemption live on TV, to be the most difficult to write. And a lot of it is Murray just kind of, trying to sound like he's improvising, but also, staying close to the script. So they had to kind of find a middle ground where it sounds off the cuff, but it's not. So I get why that was tough. In a 1989 interview, Murray described how they basically what the finished product was. He said, quote, he shot a big, long, sloppy movie, describing a lot of filmed content that did not make it into the final cut. So they let Bill Murray improvise whatever he wanted, and then Richard Donner would use the first take and go with what was in the script. Which Murray fucking hated. He felt like he basically had a leash on him the whole time, and you don't put a comedian like this on a leash. You kind of just let him run free.
Yeah, that's what you sign up for when you sign on Bill Murray.
Yeah. O'Donoghue later said that Richard Donner did not understand comedy, omitting the script's subtler elements for louder and faster moments. He thought, I guess, O'Donoghue thought that Richard Donner thought that comedy meant louder. So if you're louder and you scream, you're funnier. And that's not the case, but I disagree. I think Richard Donner, looking back at his filmography, has done some pretty funny shit. Look at Lethal Weapon, look at The Goonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think that's like one of his main like unique traits that he brings to genre movies. Yeah.
I think this was just a lot of alpha comedians butting heads because, if what I think is funny and what you think is funny is different, there's going to be a problem when we put pen to paper.
Yeah. It definitely is like I know comedy, so
I mean, if I'm in the room with Bill Murray, I'm going to let him explain to me what's funny.
Yeah, totally agree.
I can't imagine standing up to Bill Murray and being like, "You don't know what's funny. I'll explain to you what's funny." Like, what? Anyway, so he estimated O'Donoghue estimated only 40% of his and Mitch Glazer's original script made it into the final film, and the surviving content was twisted. So ultimately, Donner had final say on this film. And that conflict just lasted the entire time. Murray and Donner didn't care for each other. Bill Murray did an interview in 1990 with Roger Ebert and said that Scrooged, quote, could have been a really, really great movie. The script was so good. Donner kept telling me to do things louder, louder, louder. I think he was deaf. Ooh, boy.
What a nightmare.
Yeah. Later in 1993, Murray just was talking about it again, and he said that he and Donner just had fundamentally different visions for the type of film this was going to be. And he said there was potentially only one take in the finished film that was his.
God.
Brutal. He described the experience as having, quote, a fair amount of misery, and said, quote, that's a tough one. I still have trouble talking about Scrooged, describing working on a, quote, dusty, smelly, and smoky set, feeling alone, and even coughing up blood due to the fake snow being used. Like, shit.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a nightmare. Isn't that funny? I feel like when you look into so many of these movies that are supposed to just make you happy, they just did the complete opposite to the people that made it.
Well, I've often thought, like, if I had to pick a genre that's probably the hardest to make, it's comedy. I mean, you've got so many different visions budding at the same time. Everybody thinks that's funny. No, this is funny. No, that's funny. And you gotta pick one. And if you pick one, you're gonna alienate the other people, and they're not gonna think their contributions matter. I can't imagine having to wrangle that kind of production.
No thanks. That's when people are like, oh, I want to, make movies. It's like, well, you're ultimately you're going to be a manager. You're going to be and of all those egos, there's a reason like so many movies are not very good.
Like you're coordinating a daily staff meeting full of people who all think they should be leading the staff meeting.
Yeah, that's it. That's a perfect way of putting it.
So what did Donner say? Richard Donner, what did he have to say about all this? That was Murray's side of things. What did Donner have to say? He said that he had never worked with Bill Murray before, met up with him for drinks before accepting the project to see if they would get along. And they did at the time. Having a drink with somebody and working with them, very different experiences. The director was more positive about their relationship, describing Murray as, quote, superbly creative, but occasionally difficult. As difficult as any actor. So Donner tried to be a little bit more pragmatic and about this whole thing. He didn't want to burn any bridges. He said Murray was always in a professional mental state on set, believing it made him stressed, so the crew would do silly things to improve morale. And Donner had not worked with an improvisational comedian like Murray before, who was used to ad-libbing a lot of his lines, saying, "You don't direct Murray, you pull him back." So Donner just wanted to make his movie, and he didn't want anyone getting in the way of that. Hard to argue with that, but at the same time, like, you hired Bill Murray, use him.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's where you're kind of, you're a coach, you're a manager, you're all these different things when you're leading a movie and leading a big production. Yeah, I mean, don't hire him. Don't hire him if you don't want what comes with it.
Nah, if you want somebody, who you can work with, like, who's relatively easy, I say you get Steve Martin or Dan Aykroyd or John Candy. It becomes a Bill Murray movie when Bill Murray shows up. Like, that's just kind of known.
Yeah. God, yeah. Think about how different this would be if just John Candy.
I can't buy him as like an asshole, though. That's the problem.
No. And then Dan Aykroyd would be too good at the asshole. And then, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have another George C. Scott situation. Like, I don't believe it changed at all.
Steve Martin. Oh, dear God.
I could see Steve Martin doing this. Like, he was.
I could see him and Chevy Chase being able to do it.
Chase, no, because I could never buy him as having changed.
Yeah, same as Bill Murray.
Yeah, like, certain people just have so much baggage attached to them that, like, if they ever try to play somebody good, I'm like, come on, no,
yeah. Just blousing. Yeah.
God rest her soul.
God, I love that movie so much. Next year, same thing. 35-year anniversary. We're doing Christmas Vacation next year.
Absolutely.
Mark it an A, dude.
Hey kids, look, a deer. Fucking love that.
Yeah, it was on. That was on. I control the TV at work, basically, like, because I like hide the remote. So I'm like, I know, like, because I know all the channels better than anybody.
Yeah.
And I'll, if like certain sporting events are on or whatever. And like lately during the day, I've just had it on. I'll look up like on the guide, see like what channel, like TBS is like playing Christmas movies. And Christmas Vacation, I turned it up like really loud. On Christmas Vacation, I just stopped and watched it. I was just like, oh man, this movie just like boom, like sucks me in so fast. It's become, especially since we saw it in theaters, it's like close to my favorite Christmas movie. It's like right up there with, like, I absolutely have to watch this like at least twice every year.
Yeah, it's fun running through your Christmas lineup. I've still got a few big favorites I haven't touched yet.
Yeah, me too.
The home stretch.
I don't know. This year I'm like, there's so much like 2023 stuff I want to catch up on, and also like other stuff I want to do for the show that is not like Christmassy. So I'm like, man, when am I going to watch like Elf and Home Alone and all these other ones? I just got to kind of crunch it in. We'll see. But I know I will make time for Christmas Vacation.
Beautiful. So Scrooged ended up being a big hit. It grossed about $100 million on a $32 million budget. It was nominated.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good. It was like the 8th or 9th highest grossing film of the year.
Oh, I love that. I love when a movie that costs from like 25 to 50 million, like, makes money. This is how you do it. Don't spend an arm and a leg, but spend a lot. Make it good. Make it right. And, we have a movie like Scrooged.
Yeah, we did a 1988 movie last week. So we looked at
Die Hard. Yeah,
we looked at this, and if I remember correctly, Scrooged was in, like, it was in a good spot. Number 13. It was the 13th highest grossing film of the year.
Okay. 13's pretty good, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss when like $100 million was a successful movie. Now that's pathetic.
Yeah, now it's like $1 billion or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty nuts. Like, the highest grossing film of 88 was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that was with a $238 million worldwide.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, what are the other ones in the top 5?
Top 5.
Rain Man?
Rain Man's number 2.
What's 3?
Coming to America.
Okay, that broke my theory. What about 4?
Big.
Okay, that helps. And 5.
Twins.
What? Twins?
Twins was a huge fucking hit. I
didn't
don't
realize
know
it was
why.
that big of a hit. Holy shit. Okay, so Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Rain Man, Coming to America, big Twins. So none of those had a sequel until like a year ago when Coming to America 2 came out. Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, no
That was
sequel.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Jesus. Really? Three
Yeah.
years ago? That was 2020?
Yeah.
Good night. Yeah, the 2020s have flown by. For me anyway. So I wonder if there's like that time. That's got to be rare that there's a year where like none of those were sequels and none of them have sequels. Like the fact that Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out, made a ton of money, and no one was like, "Oh, we got to make a sequel." Like, thank God, you know. Just and Rain Man, you know, Rain Man's pretty unique, you know, like best picture winner, big. Like these movies just did really well, and then they were left alone.
Yeah, well, that was the 80s. You know, the 80s was such a bright spot of creativity, especially in Hollywood, where there were so many original films becoming iconic classics in real time.
I wonder. So like I'm trying to think. So like 89 is Back to the Future 3. 2. Okay, 85. Okay, yeah. So that's a sequel that probably did really well. I mean, like the Indiana Jones movies did really well. The Star Wars stuff did really well in the 80s.
Well,
Rocky.
Here we go. 89, highest grossing film of the year, Batman.
First, and then spawned a sequel like immediately. Yeah.
So it did start to change. But there's so many sequels, like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, number 2. Number 4 is Lethal Weapon 2. Number 7's Back to the Future 2. Number 8's Ghostbusters 2. So it was starting.
So 1988 is just an anomaly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just like, what? How in the fuck did that happen? Yeah.
Well, let's like 87. We've got
What's right before it? Yeah.
87. Number 1's Three Men and a Baby.
Jesus, really?
That's the highest grossing film of 1987. 167 worldwide gross.
Oh, what?
I don't recognize some of these. I've never heard of Stakeout. That's number 8.
Stakeout. We'd probably love that.
Yeah, this is crazy.
No, I love looking at this stuff because it's just so. Sometimes you try to like wrap your head around it and figure out like what the reasoning is, and sometimes it's just like shit happens, man. Like you just don't really know. Like there's no rhyme or reason. But point being, I feel like since then, like 90s, 2000s, 2010s, like so many of the like top 5, top 10 highest grossing movies are either going to be a sequel or something that's part of a franchise or a series or whatever. That's just how it is, man. Like it's just IP.
This year's been a bit of an anomaly.
This year because of Barbie and Oppenheimer, but then like people are already talking about a Barbie 2, and I'm like, well, fuck.
Well, like the Mario Brothers movie, that's number 2.
That's gonna have another movie. Yeah.
I know eventually it's just gonna have a sequel, but like when it's the first movie that makes that kind of money, I do like to just say like, hey, something different made a splash.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
No, we've never seen a Mario movie like that, and it did really, really well. And it's gonna happen again because it did really, really well.
I did laugh that like John Leguizamo came out and was like, hey, remember my Mario movie? Like, what about representation? And I'm thinking like, is that the hill you want to die on, John? Like, is that really the movie you want to like go to bat for representation for Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Like, he's an alien plumber thing. Like, I don't even know what the hell he is. Italian? Human? What
I don't know. He's also saying, because he's saying, you know, everybody always has thought it's a me, Mario. That's not what he's saying. He's saying it's Sumi, which is super in Japanese. It's Sumi.
That's what he's Japanese.
It's Sumi. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like he doesn't look Japanese. You know, he's just a fucking video game character.
That's the way I see it. Like nobody, I don't care. Like whatever.
No, I wasn't crazy about Chris Pratt's like vocal performance, but like I didn't care that it was a white guy. I'm like, whatever, you know. I thought like Charlie Day was pretty good as Luigi. I thought Jack Black was awesome as Bowser. Like there were aspects of that movie I really liked. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I had a decent time.
I still haven't seen it, and I'm not really in a rush. I haven't seen it. I don't
really.
I never played Mario. I didn't care.
No, me neither. I just Willow was like, "Oh, I want to see that," and I was like, "Yeah, sure." It was their first movie ever. Yeah,
That's cool. All right, I'll see it. I'll see it because of that. I'll watch it because of that.
it's well. Here's why I would tell you to watch it. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. it's wicked short. If anything, Jack Black is worth your time.
It's probably gonna be up for animated film. So,
Oh yeah.
Will that be the first video game movie ever nominated for an Oscar?
Oh, that's a question. That's a great question. There's got to be some random shit out there.
I don't. Not in that lane. I mean, what do you got? Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, fucking Wing Commander? No, I don't think so.
Assassin's Creed starring Michael Fassbender. Yeah.
What a piece of shit that movie was.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, isn't that something?
Probably not. Super Mario. Yeah, no, Super Mario Bros. is going to lose to Spider-Man, but it's going to be up.
I guess technically Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I like Wreck-It Ralph. I like both.
Awesome. I love that movie. I watched that for the first time a few months ago. I fell in love. One of my favorite Disney movies now.
Yeah, especially the modern, like past 10, 12 years, whatever.
Yeah.
It's really good. John C. Reilly is like dynamite.
Yeah, I love that fucking rug pull on the villain. I was not expecting that.
No, it's got a legit story, and the whole like video game like world. I feel like it was kind of a trendsetter in kind of like multiverse type stuff. Like here's like when you expand your mind, like here's what all this cool stuff that can happen.
It was like Ready Player One meets Toy Story.
Yeah, it's just delightful. And Sarah Silverman's great. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Very good. Scrooged was nominated for 1 Oscar at the 61st Academy Awards, Best Makeup, which it lost to Beetlejuice.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know if I were to have anything up for Scrooged, I don't even know if that would be it. I'd consider Bill Murray. I'd have to look at the other 1988 guys, but I don't know.
Maybe visual effects.
Visual effects and the makeup is good because you got some of the ghost stuff and whatnot, but like Beetlejuice is like that's what the category is made for. It's like beautiful stuff in Beetlejuice,
and not just the juice. I mean, like when Adam and Barbara, hauntify themselves or whatever the fuck that was when they like stretch their faces open. Like, yeah, I get why that one makeup.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Now, were there 3 movies up for makeup? What would be the other one? Or was it a fiver?
I don't think it was a fiver. That didn't start happening until like the 2000s, really.
Yeah.
88. Let's see. Loading. Okay. Best makeup was also Coming to America.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's an interesting group right there.
Yeah. Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate.
Oh dear God.
I fucking love Coming to America.
I do too. The sequel I thought was like bad, but
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was tolerable. I liked Wesley Snipes as like the African dictator guy. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no, I do love. I love everything Snipes does, but I don't know. My expectations are probably just too high. Like if I watch it again, I'll probably be like, this is fine. But that 88 one is dynamite.
Yeah, that might be Eddie Murphy's best movie.
Oof. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to do an Eddie Murphy movie at some point. Just
have we never done an Eddie Murphy movie?
I feel like we've never had a like proper Eddie Murphy discussion, other than like maybe way back when we did like Dolomite. Maybe I don't know.
We did do Shrek, but that was more about Shrek than it was about Eddie Murphy.
And it was more about like the animated category because that was the first year that the Oscars did it. Yeah, that's tough.
We got to do 48 Hours, Trading Places. Like we got to have that discussion.
Yeah.
Scrooge has an IMDb score of 6.9, Rotten Tomatoes score of 71%, audience score of 71% as well. Critics' consensus reads, Scrooge gets by with Bill Murray and a dash of holiday spirit, although it's hampered by a markedly conflicted tone and an undercurrent of mean-spiritedness. It's a Christmas Carol. It's supposed to be mean-spirited until it isn't.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
That's the story. Yeah.
That's great. Like this Scrooge guy is not a very nice person. Like, yeah, no shit.
Really?
My God. All right, with that, let's talk about the film itself. with our 4 categories: best scene, best performance, best music moment, and best line. Where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, we can talk about Bill Murray. He runs the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of good performances, but no one else is. I mean, like Bobcat Goldthwait is fucking amazing as Elliot Loudermilk when he's in it, but he's in it for like 3 scenes. Bill Murray just carries this motherfucker like nobody's business. He's so good, worth the $6 million, worth the Donner rivalry. He's so good. 35 years now of just a legendary Christmas performance.
Yeah, he is. He was actually very nervous about being a leading man. He'd never done that before. He'd always been part of an ensemble, and he found himself being very tired at times from having to carry production. I'm thinking like that's a backhanded way to say that, but good for you, Bill.
Yeah.
My back hurts from carrying all you fuckers all the time.
Yeah. It's great.
But I actually gave it to Bobcat.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. If you're going to give it to a heat check guy, he's it.
I just love his arc in the background of this movie. Has me laughing my ass off every single time, just from the like daring to stand up to his crazy ass evil promo to getting like to talking to himself outside the building, like, "Hey, honey, we have to move to a studio apartment. I hope you don't mind." Like talking to his wife, and then just like can't get a drink the whole movie, and then shows up with a fucking shotgun to kill this son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's so good. He's definitely
I've always been such a fan of Bobcat. I think he's fucking hilarious. I love his stand-up. I love his directed movies. I love his performances. I think he's funny as hell.
Yeah, undoubtedly. What's he up to now?
He's been directing a lot. He's done a couple horror movies. Willow Creek, for instance, which is one of my favorite.
Okay. Yeah.
Ever.
Good call.
He's done some stand-up. Doesn't really act that much anymore.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I feel like I have seen him in something else. Maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe it was a TV show he was in or something like more recently, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. So as an actor, no, not really.
No. Maybe I saw his name directing something. I don't know.
He directed World's Greatest Dad.
Okay, I've seen that. Yeah.
God, that's such a fucked up movie, but very good.
Very, yeah.
He hasn't done a he did a Bigfoot documentary in 2017. I gotta check that out.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, American Bigfoot. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they don't find him.
Yeah, no, probably not. So he's directed a bunch of like specials for other comedians, right? That's
he has. And he did one. He did a special in 2011, I think, called "You Don't Look the Same Either." Where he did some stand up, and he told one of the funniest fucking jokes I've ever heard. He was in an airport, and some lady kind of recognized him and went up to him and said, "I don't mean to insult you, but you look like Bobcat Goldthwait."
Yeah, well. Oh, that's great.
So apart from Murray and Bobcat, I think Alfre Woodard is great in this.
Oh, she's great. Yeah, I love Grace. I love that from the very first get go. When she's doing the VCR and bath towel bit. Yeah, it's incredible.
I did go to a few years ago a Draft House screening of this, and it was a movie party, and they gave everybody Alamo Draft House hand towels.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I'm not Karen Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like this could be a better performance in that role. She doesn't like stand out to me, but like at the same time, she's going against a crazy Bill Murray performance.
Well, with that whole thing, it's just how forgiving a human being can you be?
Yeah, like I don't believe it.
Yeah, what I get what he sees in her. He sees, a kind person, like the kind of person he never got to have growing up. Somebody a good person. What the hell does she get out of this relationship? He's the most selfish son of a bitch in the world, even before he becomes network president. Like there's nothing. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Claire's just lost. I love The first ghost, David Johansen ghost, the first past ghost. He's wonderful.
That was supposed to be Sam Kinison.
Oh, wow.
How fucking awesome would that be? And it wasn't like he was still alive at the time. It was because David Johansen was a friend of Murray's and he lobbied to get the role for his buddy. So Kinison was not offered the part, but how fucking awesome.
Yeah, good
Sam
Lord.
Kinison is the ghost of Christmas Past. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that would have been sick. I didn't know that. Fucking John Forsythe as Lee Hayward.
I love that.
Lou Hayward, yeah.
Yeah, he's perfect. I was like, the Marley kind of guy. That makeup also is probably what got this movie the nomination.
Yeah, that part is incredible. At the beginning, the golf ball coming out, the little mouse. Yeah. So.
I love that fucking Robert Mitchum is the network owner.
Yeah,
who's talking about like making programming for animals.
Yeah, there's some hilarious bits, some like cutaways. What's his name? John Glover. Bryce Cummings is fucking hilarious in this.
Bryce Cummings. And Ellie's Pine Ball.
So annoying. Yeah.
I love that.
I need a cigarette. Yeah.
Went to school with the big guy's son. It's like right as soon as I heard that, I'm like,
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Carol Kane is the ghost of Christmas Present. Is so underrated, underappreciated.
Nice and over the top. Yep. Yeah, she's great. Lee Majors at the beginning. Oh man,
it's Lee Majors.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, I mean, everybody's pretty solid.
Bob Goulet's old-fashioned Cajun Christmas. Always makes me laugh.
Yeah, I love that shit so much.
I love that they introduce him as America's best loved singer. Like, really, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
That's hilarious. I love my favorite thing about this movie. I love that the ghosts are kind of over it. Like none of the ghosts are really like making the effort. They're just like, oh, we got to do this shit again.
Yeah. It feels irrealistic, like they're clocking in.
Yeah, it does. It's like, it's we got to hurry this up, move along.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
How about Michael J. Pollard as Herman?
Oh, so good. Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, I got more to say about that scene when we get to
okay.
I fucking love the whole Richard Burton thing.
Yeah. So you're going Bobcat. I'm going Bill, and that feels right. Those two.
Yeah. Very good performance on everybody's part here. Music. This is a score by Danny Elfman. One of his lesser known. Didn't actually get an official release until like 2019. And there's also some good needle drops in here. The score is very just creepy and kind of lingering in the background.
La 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 la. Yeah.
Had like a Rosemary's Baby thing going on. It was
yeah. Rosemary's Baby combined with Nightmare Before Christmas, and you got Scrooged, 1988. Yeah, I like it. I like that opening is like brilliant. They're like la 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 la. It just kind of eases you into this like kind of weird story. But yeah, man, some of Full of Love in Your Heart, like when they sing at the end, is so fucking good. Just a great song, and yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of just Christmas classics that play throughout, and it's good. It's good. It's ultimately a good mashup of some creativity and some good needle drops.
I love the street musicians towards the beginning playing, I think, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen or something. One of their street musicians, Miles fucking Davis.
I read that and I was like, no way.
Yep.
I wasn't paying attention. I'm never paying attention when to who's really playing. That's insane.
And Bill's just like, like, why won't the cops do something about this? What'd you learn the song yesterday? Like just insulting these guys walking right through their fucking thing. Oh boy.
Yeah, and the way he hails that taxi in front of that old lady is it's just great.
Sometimes I'd hurt from giving too much, and I'd say, "Stop it."
Oh man, yeah, good, yeah. Right from the get go, you're just like, "Oh man, Murray is batting 1,000% here."
I like the just something that just makes me laugh is the Solid Gold Dancers bit in the Scrooge production. Like, why the hell are they here? They're just like rocking out in the middle of like ye old London.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah. What like her nipples showing. It's,
You can
oh,
barely see
so
the
good.
nipples.
Yeah, it's incredible. Oh man, yeah, I love it. I wish I could have been on set for that so bad. Watch Donner and Murray just duke it out.
Oh yeah. All right, let's talk dialogue.
Oh boy, yeah. See, this is the real category here. Just so many lines delivered by. We mentioned like some of the Bobcat stuff. Like he's just perfect when he's on, and his voice is. I've got to think that a young Charlie Day watched Bobcat and was like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
That makes a shit ton of sense. I can totally
Yeah,
see that. Oh
yeah,
my
he
god.
had to have because he does like this little like ratchet up like kind of high pitched
Yeah.
stuff, and It's Always Sunny that is like, oh, that's Bobcat, like through and through.
My favorite Bobcat line in this movie is towards the beginning after Frank shows them the crazy ass super rated R promo for Scrooge, and he holds back and like tells him his real thoughts, and he said that thing looked like the Manson family Christmas special.
Oh, so good, so good. I love the like now, especially this being 1988. I love now some of the lines like the well, this is nice. Where are we? Trump Tower. The way that that's aged is just like, oh, come on. That's great.
I love that. One of my favorite. I say this jokingly to friends and family sometimes, just for kicks. When Frank's on set and he's talking to Claire, and that guy comes up to him about the antlers on the mouse, and Frank's like, "Have you tried Staples?" He's like, "Staples," and like they start talking. He's like, "I would never hurt this guy," and he starts saying like, "I have several pets at home," and Frank just shrugs him off and goes, "Beautiful story. Tell Reader's Digest, won't you?"
Yeah. Uh,
Fucking rude.
yeah, it's really fucked up. Staples. That guy's reaction is yeah, and he's credited, whoever that is credited as the Mouse Wrangler.
I love that he introduces himself. He's like, "Excuse me, Lumpy." Like it's his
Yeah,
first day.
yeah. Oh man. Let's face it, Frank. Garden Slug's got more out of life than you. Yeah, name one.
I love when he's describing his achievements, and the ghost is like, "That was the kid on the Little House on the Prairie." Like, just he's like, he's not stupid. God.
Oh man, yeah.
A bit that always has me rolling is during that same scene when he's trying to talk to Claire, and he just keeps yelling at the guy, "Would you hold the goddamn hammering, please?"
The hammering, yeah. And she's like, "Is this a bad time?" Yeah.
Would you please, for the love of God and your own body, hold the hammering? It's like a 4-part bit. It's oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that yeah, when that's that time that's like one of my favorite scenes is when you I love when movies showcase a set of either a movie or a player production, whatever it is, and just kind of all the moving pieces and how silly it is, that like we do this. We have these huge things that we take so seriously. It's like grown men playing dress up, grown men and women playing dress up for money. That's what like this business that we love so much is, and we take it way too seriously. And it's just funny when you're watching this guy's just trying to have a conversation with an ex-girlfriend. Yeah, and the guy keeps hammering. Yeah, it's brilliant.
I remember watching the Saturday Night Live 40th anniversary special a few years ago, which was so much fun.
Yeah.
And they did
Yeah.
like a Jerry Seinfeld led like a Q&A or something, and John Goodman stood up and was like, "I love Saturday Night Live. It's like a magical place where you get to play pretend."
Yeah. Yeah.
But he said it just like that, super weird.
Yeah. 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 John Goodman just like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of depressing. when you really think about all of it, we're just killing time.
Pretty much. I mean, if you're gonna kill time, have fun with it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's like why I love comedy. Is just laughter's it's good for you. It's healthy.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so the scene where he ends up in the shelter, ends up talking to Herman and his friends.
Oh man,
He's
yeah.
Richard Burton, and they're like, "Hi, Dick, how's it going?" Uh, I Bill Murray catches on. He's like, why do you keep calling me Dick? And Herman's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Burton. I guess we don't know you well enough to call you Dick. But after Exorcist 2 and Night of the Iguana, I thought we had something special.
Such a good, just sneaky line.
And I love that it's like his two worst movies.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man, that's genius writing. I want to know who put that one pen to paper.
Then he does that like terrible speech from Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Oh god. There's some fantastic lines in this.
I love one of my favorites is from the Hayward scene close to the beginning. When he's turned around and he's like just bam bam boom bam. He's doing all these weird noises. And then Hayward's like, I don't mind you shooting me, Frank, but take it easy on the Bacardi. And that's when he's like, wake up, this isn't real. But the noises he makes when he bam, bam, boom, bam, like he's playing Duck Hunt.
That was a great touch.
Yeah.
I love when like Lou starts talking about, I'm teeing up on the 8th hole. A minute later, I'm a worm feast. And Frank's like, no. You're not a worm feast. You're a hallucination. Russian vodka, poisoned by alcohol, like brought on by alcohol, Russian vodka poisoned by Chernobyl. Like that had just happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about too soon. Good Lord. Which again is why like years later, it's almost like these jokes are better, easier. I don't know what the word is for that.
A little dated, but also kind of like, smart.
Yeah. It's like, well, some things are easier to like digest and understand, like where the joke comes from, if it's not so soon after something.
That's true.
Give it some time. Yes, some of it is dated, of course. Yeah, a lot of the 80s, 90s stuff could not come out today. Yeah.
No. I love at the end when Elliot shows up with the shotgun and like blasts his Emmys to pieces, and he's like, "Oh my god, my babies!"
I feel bad for James, the brother.
Oh,
my brother, the king of Christmas. Yeah, like he handcrafted that frame. That like makes me cry. I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I don't know if I could try that hard for a brother like this.
No. And who is Wendy played by?
Let's see.
She's done a lot of voice work that I like a lot. Damn it. His brother's wife. I think her name's Wendy.
Wendy Malick is the name of the character, of the actor. Yeah, she plays Ronnie from Frasier. I can't believe I didn't make that connection.
Yeah. She's done a lot of random shit I like a lot. A lot of random, like she's got a super distinct voice.
Yes, she does.
So there's another one. There's another good performance that is. She's only there for 2 scenes, and she's great. I mean, I think it's really touching when the Carol Kane, the second ghost, when they go to Grace's apartment. Like that whole bit is really, really touching, and just watching this pretty big family where the dad passed away, and I think Calvin is the name, the son who hasn't spoken in 5 years or whatever. So just a really beautiful moment. And that's where, he's watching and he's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then he immediately goes to his brothers and is like, oh, how do they not know the answer to this? This question is easy. He like so quickly on a dime goes from like, oh man, this is touching, to like, I'm a dick. It's really crazy. But I've always loved the Cooley family, led by Alfred Woodard. I've always loved anytime they're on the screen.
I love when they get there and she slaps Frank, and Frank just goes, if you touch me again, I will rip your goddamn wings off. Like he just fucking hates her so much.
The bitch hit me with a toaster. I love when he just freaks out. Yeah, it's great. He's so good at it. He's so good at just turning up like on a dime.
Yeah. I love when she flicks his ear to like bully him into giving Grace a raise.
Yeah. Yeah, great stuff. I love it. I love the beginning when he's like, "What is this?" It's that drawing that her son did. And he's like,
Oh,
"I don't want it on the wall."
so
Yeah, it's just
so
so
sad.
fucked up. Yeah. She just busts her ass to make sure that he's got like a cushy, easy life, and he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, your brother's downstairs, and I didn't tell him about his wonderful Christmas towel.
Oh
One of
man.
my favorite sight gags in this movie is when Frank goes to see James, who's like doing like a I don't know exercise bike or something, and you, the definition of cross is on the wall, and it says cross noun, a thing you nail people to.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a brutal touch.
Gives you the kind of vibe that this building is under at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I love when he runs into the ghost of Christmas Future, like the super scary Grim Reaper, and the Reaper's like getting closer to him. Frank goes like, "Back off, man. That might work with the chicks, but not with me."
Yeah. Great bit. Great bit. Yeah. Yeah, that is a frightening ghost.
He opens the robe and it's like demons screeching at him.
Yeah. And he's like closes it and then opens it again.
Did our people do that? We're gonna get phone calls.
Yeah, that's a great touch. Only Bill. Only Bill.
Holy Bill. Oh, great stuff. Let's move on to scene. What are some of your favorite scenes?
I mentioned it very like a long time ago. The closing of the movie is just so good. The live, doing the whole show, and then he just kind of takes the stage, literally. And I love when he does the transitioning from one thing to the next. I love like my favorite to me like the most seamless bit is when he goes to like the girl and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" Like the mistletoe. He's like, "I had to. That was great." No, it wasn't great. He's just like rambling. It's like these thoughts. He's just spewing these deep emotional thoughts. And again, for whatever reason, it works. I guess because the charisma that he carries. But just 10 minutes ago, he was being a complete asshole, and then here he is doing this whole thing, and you buy it. You just do. Like he's just that convincing. And then he does that whole. I mean that paragraph. I mean it's long. It is a long bit of that speech, and Bill Murray just completely knocks it out of the park. And the really sweet moment between him and Calvin. He's like, "Anything else? What does he call him? Big man or whatever?" He's like, "Anything else?" And that's when he finally talks after 5 years, and everybody's like, "Oh!" And then they sing the song, and you're like, "Ah, damn, this is."
Yeah.
Because I can be a bit of a Scrooge myself when it comes to Christmas. Not the whole like I love what it represents to people who are normal, that like family and gathering together and hanging out, spending time with people that matter to you. But the whole like commercialism of it is disgusting, and all of that stuff is gross. So like, I relate to him, at the beginning of the movie as far as just like this is trash, like it's just trash. But he's also like, I love Christmas because it's suckers like you, who make me money. So I get where like this character is coming from in all these different adaptations of the story. But I also do love when someone kind of turns around and is like, hey, we're here for a little while. Let's try to have a good time. Be nice to each other. Kindness can go a long way. And that's ultimately the message of Christmas, just pass it on, right? Pay it forward. And so I like that the movie ends on that note.
Yeah, it's touching, and it's a good message about just if you can help somebody, help them out.
Do it. Yeah.
Whether that's
Do it.
a little thing or a big thing, little things snowball into big things. Pay it forward
Yeah.
is a very important thing to do in life. You never know.
Yeah.
That could be the moment of somebody's day that they really, really fucking needed.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you think about when it's happened to you, Yeah. And like when it helps you get through a day or through a week or whatever it is.
I remember very distinctly I had a moment a few years ago. Actually, it was like 5 years ago. I was dealing with I guess breakup is the word for it. I was very despondent. I was very just like I was having a bad day. And I pulled into a 7-Eleven to get gas, and I walked in. I was like, I might as well get a Slurpee. And I bought a Slurpee. And the lady was like, you know what? Go ahead. Like, all yours. Like, she was going to give it to me for free. And I kind of fell apart. I had a moment of like, you don't know how much I needed that. It was like just a little kindness after a rough day of like being just run over. And I felt better.
To her, and to a lot of people, it might be like $2, but to you, it was like, someone saw me.
Yeah, it was a gesture, and I really needed that pick me up. That's been 5 years ago, and I remember it. Like I still remember that lady doing that.
Oh, hell yeah, dude! Oh my god. Oh yeah, I take all that stuff very seriously, but that like karma and like pay it forward, like just do right, do the right thing, over and over, and it'll come back around to you. I believe in that kind of energy, and I think it's important to carry with yourself, and also be open to it. That like sometimes like giving and giving and giving is good, but be ready to receive stuff too. Like be ready to receive gestures, like you said. Something small like that can go a long, long way.
Yeah. The people who tend to take care of other people do often forget to take care of themselves. And you got to remind
them for sure
to take a moment and just breathe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And be okay with like, someone wants to give you something or give you a compliment or whatever, just fucking take it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let yourself smile. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Put a little love in your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great song. Like when you really listen to the lyrics, you're like, damn, that's nice.
I love when the future ghost takes Frank towards, how Calvin's going to end up, how Claire's going to end up. And especially when he sees Claire, that Claire has become him, and his heart is broken. He's like, I ruined her. I destroyed what I loved about her. And his like strangled, I'm sorry, Claire, always gets me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like brilliant. And yeah, and Claire, you're like, oh God. I mean, how the tables have turned, my friend. You're a grade A bitch in this scene. She's such a nasty person in that moment. But yeah, it's and you never know how it's actually going to be, but it's the possibility, right? And I love that scene for when he's like, wait, what is that? And it's him, like he's dead.
Yeah. And
no one showed up but his brother and his sister-in-law. No one else showed up, and he's like, oh, okay, hold on now. that's that can be kind of narcissistic, like, oh, I want people to remember me. But I do think there's like a fine line between narcissism and kind of being like, well, like what you leave behind is important, and like how kind you are to people is important. It's not about like, oh, I want thousands of people at my funeral. It's more about, I want them to remember that like I was good and nice to them so that they can be nice and good to the next person.
Yeah, we're not all going to be George Bailey. I mean, that's not a bar you can set for yourself. It's not possible. But a little, what did Willy Wonka say? No, that's about nonsense, not kindness. Never mind. But yeah, be nice.
Yeah, be kind. Rewind. Yeah, for sure. I think it's great. Now, obviously, we've already mentioned as well, like the Bobcat scenes are like easily right up there with the best of the whole movie.
When the car zooms past him and like douses him in water, and he's like, "You dog, you!" Like, I don't know what the hell that was, but god damn it.
And like the bag breaks and the bottle drops. Yeah, like, oh Jesus. Yeah. No, yeah, he is electric the whole time he's on the screen. So any of those scenes are some of the best, most rewatchable scenes. And the opening, which also includes Bobcat, because it's so weird. Because you're like, well, what is this? And it's like a meeting at this company, and they're trying to like find different promos and whatnot. And it's such a wacky, like, I mean, it kind of like separates the men from the boys type thing. It's like, all right, like, this is going to be a strange movie. It's going to be off kiltered. It's going to be a little wacky, a little violent. It's going to be some language in here. It's not like a family kids movie very much. So I like that it jumps off right there with like Santa and like his elves, like with like fucking AKs. It's insane.
This is one Santa who's going out the front door.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I love that Lee Major stuff. Yeah, it's so funny. So I've always loved the opening of this movie.
The Leave It to Beaver joke always so stupid, but it makes me laugh. The father loves Beaver. Oh my god.
Great. Yeah, great stuff. You gotta be ready for it.
Oh, yeah, and it sets up, Frank's in charge and does not give a shit what anyone else thinks. They're all terrified of him.
Yeah.
and he's going to do things his way, whether or not it tanks his network or not.
Yeah, it's really genius. The really well constructed movie, well acted. You wouldn't know if you didn't tell people that no, these people didn't get along. You just wouldn't know because it feels seamless.
It does. One of my favorite scenes is when Frank is awaiting the arrival of the first ghost. He's going to happen at noon, and he's at lunch with Robert Mitchum and John Glover, and he's just like completely on edge, seeing
Oh
shit.
yeah,
I love when Glover starts talking about like his lacrosse team or something, and Frank just goes thinking he's the ghost. And they're both just like, what? Like, they don't know what to do.
what drugs were you on? Yeah.
And when he douses that like the waiter he thought was on fire, he throws a bucket of water at him and he's like, "I'm sorry, I thought you were Richard Pryor."
Yeah, it's a great line. Yeah, I can't believe we didn't mention that already.
Oh God, yeah, and just all the shit with the Ghost of Christmas Past. I love that guy, the way he's just screwing with him the whole time, and him Frank like seeing his parents and realizing why he hates Christmas. It's because all he ever got as a kid was meat.
Yeah, those are real sad, and yeah, I love when he sees like the first time that him and Claire meet. That's like a really sweet moment, like they hit heads or whatever. And Bill Murray's hair is unbelievable in those scenes. What a hairdo.
At that scene, Match Game host Gene Rayburn is there just hanging out.
Oh, why not? Right? Yeah.
I guess just chilling. It's the 70s. In case you weren't clear, that's Gene Rayburn.
I love that.
I love the little when Frank and Claire's like their first Christmas when
the knives,
and the sutra. Yeah. I love the little line where like
Claire's done that.
Buddy of mine did this. When Claire says like, "Did you open them? Open the presents the day of or the day before?" And Frank was like, "Well, it was going to spoil. We would open it the night before." Just another thing, like it was meat.
Yep,
always meat.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good bit. It's really sweet. Yeah, and done that. Yeah, friend of mine. I would like to think that Chris Farley in Billy Madison is conjuring Bill Murray when he's talking to Adam Sandler, and he's like, "That Veronica Vaughn, this one fine piece of ace." He's like, a friend of mine and her got it on. No, they didn't. Well, you can imagine what it'd be like.
Good shout.
Just so good. Couple of Second City alumni. Yeah, Bill Murray and Chris Farley and SNL.
Beautiful. Oh man. Yeah, and then like Claire and Frank breaking up is always a tough watch because Frank doesn't even realize they're breaking up. He's like, he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, like I'm willing to forgive you. What?
Yeah, he's such a dick in that scene. He puts on the fucking dog, the mascot, the head, and then she just kind of whispers, "Oh, Merry Christmas," See ya. Sad.
Yeah, very sad. Mother great when Frank finds Herman dead in the sewer.
Oh,
yeah,
yikes.
Yeah,
and he still has kind of like a no, not me. Oh, come on. Just a desperation.
Well, it's it's executed from the setup earlier where Herman's like, "Hey, Dick, can I have $2 to eat my place?" And Frank's like, "Sorry, buddy, blew it all on Liz."
Oh, Christ.
When I first saw this, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And now that I'm very aware of who Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor are, this is my favorite gag in the movie.
Yeah, good. Understandable. Yeah. No, the movie gets. I think that's part of my point too. Is not only has it got better over time, but as you get older, a lot of it, if you're like a movie fan and you recognize the references and whatnot, it becomes even better. Like the writing is top notch.
Truly. Yeah, that's what I've got. You got any other scenes you want to shout out?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered. I'm sure I'm going to think of some random shit, but we pretty much covered everything that I love. This movie's like an hour and 40, brisk, goes by like that, moves really well paced. you don't have to spend too much time with one ghost, right? You're like, I feel like it's just a really, really well done thing, which again makes no sense that these people call the experience miserable, because it's like, well, you made a pretty diamond like movie, you like, this is one of the Christmas movies in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of hate for this on Letterboxd, especially. A lot of people were like, "Fuck this movie," and I don't get that. Like, where's that coming from?
Yeah, it's pretty split, right? It's got like a 3 point something, and people are either like 5 stars, hell yeah, or they're like, fuck this thing, it's outdated. It's like, nah, whatever.
Yep.
Get out of here.
That's a great segue to our final segment here. What's in the box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
So Scrooge is rocking 3.3 out of 5. Pretty good.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's not. I don't know. Yeah, I think I have it at 4 stars personally.
I pushed it to a 5 recently.
Oh, I love that. I love when that happens, and you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I love it. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I love this movie.
yeah, I don't really care either.
No. But some of the people here despise this movie. I have 2.
I'm excited. I stayed away from reviews because I was like, I can't wait to see what he came up with. So
I've got 2 negative ones, 1 middle of the road, and 2 positive. So 5.
All right. Let's hear it.
From Rubber Duck 79.
All right.
Rather watch my dog get murdered slowly for 2 hours. Half a star. Damn.
And not even, they didn't even equal the runtime of the movie. They're like, no, I'm going to push it to 20 minutes past the runtime. And I'd still rather watch my dog. Yeah, that's just sad. There's not a lot of movies I could say that about. I don't think any.
No, I'll watch Freddy Got Fingered again if it means I don't have to kill my dog.
I don't have a dog, but even then, like, even then, even if it was someone else's dog, like,
yeah.
if, like your, if it was like Harvey.
Yeah, that's right. I consider Harvey
I don't want
my dog, kind of. Yeah,
I don't want to watch that shit. Fuck no. Like, I'd rather watch a bad movie. Yeah, all day.
That's I would never even consider that. That's weird that's where so this guy's mind went. Like, I'd rather watch my dog get murdered. Like, Jesus,
buddy. So many unhappy people on that website. Just
right?
Like,
it's obnoxious. Like, what do you even like? Like, if this is like, if you're like this with stuff that's pretty good, like, what entertains you?
Yeah, like, yeah, one of Adam's favorite like phrases is you must be fun at parties.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, man, you just really are positive. Yeah, all right.
My favorite review is always the person who's like, I bet I would hate this. I haven't watched it, but I bet this sucks. 1 star. Like,
yeah.
Go away. Next one's from Addie. I love A Christmas Carol retelling where Scrooge is the same at the end as he is at the beginning. 1 star.
All right. Whatever. I can hang with that. I can deal with that.
Yeah. Do you think these lessons are going to stick with Frank, or like as soon as January rolls around, him and Claire are breaking up again?
Yeah, probably. Maybe like February. Yeah. last like a month. Yeah.
Ah, boy. Do you think Herman was a ghost too? Was he a test?
Ooh, that's a good.
Because we see him flying with the Ghost of Christmas Present, being very friendly, almost like they know each other. So
yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good observation.
And Frank failed the fuck out of that test.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The test was give this homeless guy $2, and no. This one's from Russman. 5 pounds of veal isn't a bad gift. 3 stars.
I mean, yeah, not wrong.
I don't know if you can flip meat, but that's what I would try to do.
To a child, yeah, probably a little weird, but like, I'd take some meat. Yeah, I mean, if someone was like, "Here's 5 pounds of whatever," I mean, I'll take it.
I can't. I like to give gifts at Christmas. I love to, like, I don't give gift cards and shit. I tailor make my presents to people who I know they're gonna love it. I don't know anybody in my life that I would give 5 pounds of veal. I don't.
Well, yeah. No, I'm bad. I'm bad at it, mainly because I just like very rarely have like money to do stuff. I have ideas. I'm just not good at. I don't follow through. I don't like a lot of my coworkers and I have been saying that like This year, like our Christmas gifts to people are what's the phrase? Like, I have one friend. She's always like, oh, like everybody's getting a text message this year, just because everything's so goddamn expensive. All of us are like, yeah, well, I mean, I can't even get. I rather get my own, wife. Like I already got her something because I was like, I have the money now. I'm gonna fucking do it. Pull the trigger now because when December 23rd rolls around, I'm fucked. It ain't happening. And my daughter, obviously. So those are the two that come first. Everybody else, yeah, I'm sorry. Your gifts are in my thoughts and prayers. that's what me and my coworkers say.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, sad, but true.
Yeah, I also am quite broke, but I thankfully shop at a lot of thrift stores, so that helps.
Yeah, see, especially like people like you and I, we'll take a $5 movie and be like the happiest little kid on the planet. Like fuck yeah. Yeah, you bought me a DVD of Thief. I'm it. Cool. Like that. Like we don't. We'll take stuff that's just kind of like from the heart.
Yeah. Like I know for a fact you're gonna freak out over the $10 shirt I got you.
See, yeah, and I can't wait. Yeah,
yeah. You don't know what's on that shirt, but it's awesome.
No, I don't. I'm excited. Yeah. No, my brother got me this shirt as an early Christmas. Jeremy gave it to me and it was his, but he's like, I just didn't wear it, and I thought you would. So yeah, he's like, just gave it to me. So this to set it off characters: Queen Latifah, Cleo, Jada Pinkett Smith, Stoney, Vivica Fox, Frankie, and what's the other girl's name? I can't remember the last one's name, but TT is her character. Yeah, great movie. Yeah,
cool. I've never seen that or heard of it, so that's
awesome. Set It Off, dude. You would love Set It Off. It's like a heist movie, but for ladies. Oh man, okay. Vivica Fox, Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah. What more than you need to know? Yeah,
I'm putting it in my list right now. Set It Off. Gary Gray, I'm in.
Oh yeah, F. Gary Gray, 90s. Yeah, just fucking electric movie. Yeah, a lot of fun. But yeah, no one's gonna fucking know who these characters are, but I do. And Jeremy knew that I did, and he was like, "Yeah, here you go." He gave me this in an Iron Maiden shirt, like as an early, and they were both shirts from his collection that he just like doesn't wear, but they're still like new. And I was like, you don't have to spend money.
It's just never about the price tag. It's about the thought that you wanted somebody to smile. That's what it's all about for me.
Yeah. I smiled. I was like, "Oh, this shirt's fucking crazy." Yeah, I've never seen it before. So, yeah. I think the art of gift giving is up to you.
Yeah, exactly. This next one's from Ryan. This is what happens when you mix cocaine and Christmas. 3.5 stars.
Yeah, fair. That's a fair assumption, and 3.5 stars. Yeah.
Great. When you're an executive in Hollywood in 1987 and you snort a line off of a first edition of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, you're going to get some ideas.
Yeah, rightfully so. Yeah. God, I bet, man, the 80s. Just oof. I would have died.
There was no conference table in Los Angeles that didn't have a little bit of a white mist on it.
Yeah, just like a thin layer of powder.
Yeah. It's like cocaine wasn't even dangerous till like the 90s. In the 80s, it was just like a vitamin that helped you come up with ideas.
Yeah, no, that's 100% right. Yeah.
And this last one's from Dankwit. I don't care if he's in character. Robert Mitchum would never punt a cat. How dare you suggest as much? And they just hearted it. They didn't give a score.
Fine. Oh my God. So they liked it, but they didn't. Yeah, they're not going to admit the stars. So that's great.
I do love that random moment where he's pissed that Bryce called him a butthead, so he just fucking kicks his cat.
Yeah. Robert Mitchum of all people. Yeah.
And after watching Night of the Hunter, like I believe that man would punt a cat.
Yeah, so that review for you doesn't make much sense. Yeah,
like you haven't watched a lot of his '60s work, that's for sure.
Yeah, where he thrived. Yeah.
The original Max Cady. Never forget that.
Ugh, yikes.
Oh, well, that is our show. Happy 35, Scrooged.
Oh yeah, classic.
This was a blast. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message through the socials. Check out our Letterboxd accounts for daily reviews. If you search for me at Connor95 and in my friends list, you can find the rest of the team. Check out the website, filmgazm.com, where I have a link to that letterbox. You can also find articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our show. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on Support This Podcast. You can choose to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month, and all donations go right back into the show. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their contributions. Thanks to Cooley Cow for our awesome theme music. Thanks to you for checking it out. Next week, we go all the way back to 2003 to discuss one of the most beloved Christmas comedies of all time. On Christmas Eve, an orphan baby crawls into Santa's sack and ends up at the North Pole, where he's raised among elves as Buddy. When Buddy grows up, he heads to New York City to find his real father, and he brings with him a limitless amount of Christmas cheer in the family comedy Elf.
Yeah, so good. So
20
good.
years old, Elf. Another huge success
Insane.
that amazingly avoided a sequel for 20 years.
Thank God. I just think it's such a brilliant, and I can't imagine an Elf 2 without, rest in peace, James Caan. Like, no thanks.
Oh, yeah.
No thanks. I don't even want to think about it. Buddy, what's your favorite color? Elf is great. I'm excited to listen to that one. I believe it'll be you and Mysia doing that one. So super stoked for that. Get her back on. And I love that we're having different people do Christmas movies. It's cool. Kind of let people kind of have get their 2 cents in on what they enjoy during the season.
Yeah, it's neat. It's been fun. In the meantime, don't lose your Christmas spirit and always choose kindness. Take it easy, keep watching movies, and we'll see you next time.